Just realised I've had my mic on mute for the intro of the stream. Apologies about that. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Academy Season 5, Round 10 here at Mexico for the penultimate round of the season. I hope you guys have enjoyed the entirety of this season as much as I have. And if you've missed any of the races, then head over to the Gavra Racing YouTube channel to go watch them back. Last week's race at Russia was definitely an interesting one. I had lots of action all the way through. And yeah, the Academy just never fails to disappoint. Always up there with some of the best racing we've had this season. We're here for the usual 18-minute qualifying session. We've had about 6 of those minutes and we've got 12 of them left. We're here at Mexico, where the provisional pole time is a 1 minute 15.7 set by Pinty himself. Let's see what tyres everyone's gone on to. That's the telemetry tyres. So the top 6, interestingly, have set their fastest time on the softs. Our pitter is the highest on the mediums, about 8/10 off of provisional pole position. Interesting going for the medium tyres. I don't know too much what the strategy is here. I believe when last year's game it was a 2-stop, although a medium harder was possible. The tyre drop-off and degradation is quite high at this track. Could be something to keep an eye on throughout the race. Liam, it could be on a lap. He's going around the final corner now. Let's see what time it is. It's 1:18.6. Doesn't improve. Maintains 5th position. He might be going out for another lap. We've got a few cars of Witzel and Tutti Boy coming out of the pit lane. Not Tutti Boy. He's currently on a nap. I think that's Whiskey behind. Was that someone? I thought that was someone sideways in the pit lane. I think it was just Dutchy going into the box. Yellow flag to the first sector. I think that's someone slowing down to let drivers go through. We have no one on a flying lap as things stand. I believe Liam is on a cool-down lap, although he's only 0.004 off of his personal best. So we'll keep an eye on Liam's time, see if he does improve. His last lap could have been a cool-down lap. Thank you to everyone who is tuning into the stream so early. Apologies for starting a little bit late and for having the mic on mute for the intro. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Yep, just check the audio and it's all good on my end. And Liam, well, he's pretty much matched the entirety of his previous best lap. He's 1,000th off through the middle sector. He's currently running in 5th place, going through the stadium sector. Really tricky technical part of the track. Let's see what Liam can do in the short run up to the line. Does improve by 2/10, and it's only good enough to improve on the lap time. Maintains 5th position for now. We've got Witzel starting one of his flying laps. We've got Tutti Boy going through the 2nd sector. As he approaches the DRS activation point, opens up the rear wing. Let's have a look at his sector split through middle sector. He's purple through the middle sector. Currently hasn't set a lap time. Going through the final sector in the golf-themed livery. Runs a little bit wide at the initial apex. Goes over the curve. Doesn't invalidate. Keeps it on the circuit. Uses all the curb available to the outside of the track and goes up into 5th place. I saw someone in the chat saying the word chat, and then I said chat instead of track. Two confusing, very similar words. Meanwhile, we've got Hilstadinho starting one of his lap. Everyone pretty much out on the track, getting their 2nd runs in. I think that's Nico Zora going across the line to start one of his laps. I think Dutchy Boys, he's just coming out the pit lane. We've got Tibokka going through the final sector now, starting one of his laps. I only realised only one Luca Rosman has got disqualified. We can check why after the qualifying session using the race director. I think Pinty, is he coming around the final corner? No, I think that's Witzel. I could just go the other way. It is Witzel up to the line, goes up into 8th place. What about Whiskey up to the line? Goes ahead into 7th place, drops Witzel down into 9th. What about Pinty? What can he do? Can he extend his provisional pole advantages? Yes, he does. And he does have quite the lead. 15-4. 7/10 clear of Skeldog behind. He's going around the final corner. He's 5/10 up on his time. Can he find 2/10 around the final corner? Yes, he can. And he finds a little bit more with a 15.2. Goes ahead of Pinty. Peter puts himself up into 5th place, and I think that's Sumi coming across the line. Doesn't improve. What about Tutti Boy? Decides to bail and go into the pits. Hilstadinho going round the final corner. He's 5/10 up on his personal best. This could be a good lap from him, and he improves by 7/10, and he closes the gap to Pinty to now only 0.3 of a second. And what about Nico Zora going around the final corner? Even he do. It's a 17.7, goes up into 11th place. If anything, maintains 11th place. What about Tubokarun? Hasn't set a lap time yet. He's gone out on the red striped soft tyres, the softest compound available. And in the run up to the line, it's a 21.3. But I'm sure he can definitely find 2 or 3 seconds on that lap. Is this Lucas starting a lap? It is Lucas starting his lap. And it looks like a new livery for Lucas. Maybe a little bit of luck might come with it after the misfortune he's had in the previous few races. Let's actually have an onboard of his lap. I don't think anyone's on a flying lap at the minute. I think everyone's on cooldown laps in towards turn 1. Hooks the first apex quite nicely. You can gain and lose so much time at these sections of corners. Doesn't actually open the DRS, interestingly, through the second activation point. That could just be a visual glitch. Braking it around the 100 metre board for the left-right chicane where Kimi Raikkonen and Valtteri Bottas collided a couple of years ago. A double right-hander hooks both apexes quite nicely before going through the tricky technical medium high-speed SS section. Does well not to ride over the curves. There's a little bit of lag. It's hard to tell where his car actually is on the track. He's gone a little bit deep into the second left-hander. That would have compromised this line. Opening up the DRS though, down into the third and final sector, the stadium sector, which some drivers aren't particularly huge fans of. You can see the fans in full view. Going round the final corner. And, what lap time is it going to be for Lucas? And apparently it was a 1:10, but with the lag it's a 1:20. And it looks like the Delta's reset himself. It was 1:15.9, goes up into 4th place. I've only just clocked that on the leaderboard. I was looking at these sector times in the top right hand corner of the screen. Tootie Boys finishing an out lap. We've got Liam also on an out lap, but I think Dutchie's not on an improving lap. He's 0.5 off of his personal best. What about Tubokarun? He's 4.5 off of his personal best through the first sector. We've got Lucas on a lap, on possibly a cool down lap after just improving on the previous best. But it is Skeldog who is on provisional pole position. If you missed last week's race, spoiler alert. So just in case you want to turn the volume down for 10 seconds, it was Pinty who was able to wrap up the Drivers' Championship, and he's currently in 2nd place. He's done enough to beat Skeldog this season. These two have really been going at it. The likes of Tubokarun as well, another driver who's often up there in the top 5. Pieti as well. Don't think he's here tonight. He's currently 3rd place in the championship, and Arpita currently in 7th place in this qualifying session, running 4th place in the championship. So congratulations to Pinty for being able to wrap up the championship 2 races early at Russia. But we'll be trying to score as many points as he can for the duration of the season. He's picked up 4 wins so far, and he might try and get another one here tonight if he can out-qualify Skeldog and put his car on pole position. Pole position, though, might not be the best place to start with the huge run down towards turn 1. Tootie Boy improves by 1/10.5 and maintains 8th position. What about Liam? He's 1/10.5 down and has invalidated his lap. Dutchie, by the way, 0.6 off of his personal best, as the car behind Sumi is on an out lap. Looks like we've got Arpita behind, who's invalidated his out lap. He'll be trying to set an improved lap. So I think it will be Pinty, the next driver to set a time. He is, though, 1/10 down on his personal best. But you can see how aggressive he takes the middle sector. And it's a really interesting track, because do you take more downforce to get more speed through the middle sector, or do you risk the back end and take a little bit of wing angle off to gain the advantage down the start-finish straight and down in towards turn 4? But rounds the final corner, turn 17, up to the line, doesn't actually extend his provisional pole advantage and will be going for another lap. What about Whiskey behind? He improves, but was an invalidated lap, so the time won't count. I'll have a look at to why Luca was DSQ'd after the qualifying session. We'll have a check at the race director to see what has gone on there. Hello everyone in the chat. I hope you're excited and ready for this Mexican Grand Prix. Turn 1 always provides some action, especially at the end of the first lap. What can Liam do to promote himself from 10th place? Goes 3 positions higher with a 16.5. Goes up into 7th place. We've got a few more drivers crossing the line. It's not Nico Zora, who is actually 4 tenths up through the first few corners alone. Impressive. What about Arpita? Is this Arpita up to the line? Yes, it is. Goes up into 6th place with a 1 minute 16.2. And that puts him 1 second behind provisional pole. Skeldog still in the pits with 2 minutes left to go, so we might not get out in enough time. Having said that, though, I believe that is his car going down the pit lane. Yes, it is. So we probably have a timing issue here in the commentary box. But to be fair, 1 minute 50, it is possible to get around the lap in that time. Is a championship rival, but ultimately championship leader is ahead of him on track, and slipstream is definitely important to an outstanding lap, especially in the first sector alone. You can gain plenty of time. Let's try and find the next driver up to the line. Is that Hilstedinho? No, it's not. It's the other black car of Nico Zora, who improved by 3 tenths with a 17.4. He's got Liam behind him on track, who's going through turn 16 now. Does he improve? Can he extend? Oh, get any higher than P8? No, not quite. He's 1 second off the pace. Might try and go for it on another lap. Someone improved. I think that was Witzel. Improves by 8.5 tenths. Goes up into 5th place with a 1 minute 16 flat. What about Tubokarun? It has invalidated his time, but with 50 seconds left on the clock, we'll be able to go for it again. Sumi has retired and will not be able to improve from this session. Arpita has also invalidated, so he'll get another bite at the cherry with about 40 seconds left to go. Skeldog is on an out lap. We've got Lucas, who's also invalidated his most recent lap, which means it's going to be Nico Zora who's going to be the next driver to set a lap, but he's invalidated as well. What about Liam? He is going through turn 7 now, hasn't invalidated as of yet. Having said that, has just gone over the white lines and invalidated his lap. Whiskey has retired from the session. I think this is Hilstedinho who's going to be the next driver to set a valid lap. It seems to be a commentator's curse to stricken action early, and it's still going to be Hilstedinho to set a lap because he's only gone and dropped it on the exit of turn 11. Who's going to be the next driver to set a lap? Is anyone going to improve in the dying seconds of qualifying? What about Tubokarun? Can he keep it within the white lines? Can he keep it in a straight line? Going through the middle sector, he's going to be turning that steering wheel left and right. Now he can breathe a little bit, going down the short back straight before braking, downshifting to about 3rd or 4th gear, going into the stadium section. I didn't clock his sector splits, but we'll have a look to see how much he improves. If he improves, going around the final few corners for the final time in qualifying. Can Tubokarun get any higher than 6th? Yes, he can. Goes up into 5th place with a 1 minute 15 point. 1 minute 15.9. Apologies about that. Skeldog doesn't improve on his time, and will start this race on pole position unless Lucas can do anything about it, but has invalidated his lap, which means that is qualifying over here at Mexico, and for the penultimate race of the season, it is Skeldog who has put it on pole position. Might not be the best place to start in Mexico with a long run down towards turn 1, but claims his 3rd pole of the season. Only 2 drivers have actually got a pole this season, and both of them are running 1st and 2nd in the championship. Pinty, your championship leader and championship winner, will start on alongside him on the front row of the grid, but look at the gap, 600ths between them. 2 tenths behind is Arpita, who will start in 3rd place ahead of Hilstedinho in 4th. Lucas in 5th place will start ahead of Tubokarun in 6th. Witzel will start in 7th with Sumi down in 8th. Liam in 9th, and Tutti Boy rounds out the top 10. Whiskey, Nico Zora, Dutchy, only one Luca Rosman will all start in 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th and have a free set of tyres. Let's have a look at the incidents and see what happened to the only one Luca Rosman. And there it is. Disqualified for going the wrong way. So probably lost it at one of the A corner. Tried to recover by spinning the car around, but the game deemed him for going backwards for too long. There you have it. 5 500, sorry, was the advantage Skeldog had at the end of the 18-minute qualifying session. But now we wait for the drama to unfold. For once, we don't have a lobby glitch, and we can actually get this race underway fairly shortly after qualifying. Let's have a look and see what everyone's saying in the chat. Gav's afraid of a Russia turn 1. Well, it's Russia turn 1, but with a longer run, which should make things even more interesting. Having a look at the grandstands, if anyone is Finnish, Polish, European, Australian or Mexican, I wish you all good luck. There is a poll in the chat saying, do you like the Mexican track? Let me know what you think by answering the poll, either yes or no. Personally, it's one of my maybe not top 5, but it is up there with tracks that are on the F1 game. Maybe not all time, but it is definitely one of my personal favourites. If you can hook the lap up, it is quite glorious. But anyway, the formation lap should be getting underway fairly shortly. Drivers just selecting their tyre strategies and maybe making some last-minute setup adjustments. Let's have a quick look at the tyre situation. Everyone on the softs, apart from Dutchy, who's opted for the yellow striped medium compound tyre. He'll be going the longest out of anyone if he keeps his front wing intact, and obviously without the due course of a safety car. So let's just remove a few things that we don't really need. There we go. Let's hide that. So it is Skeldog who put it on provisional poll. The current poll in the chat is currently 4-3. 57% saying yes, they are a fan and like this track. Well, speaking of the track, let's get some track facts about this track. Obviously located in Mexico, there is the predicted pit stop strategy, 2-stop for a soft medium, or a soft medium. Maybe they could stretch it to a soft to hard. We'll have to wait and see, but I personally think the 2-stop is the quickest way with the grip advantage and the tyre degradation. Anyway, it's 4.3 kilometres long, which equates to 2.6 miles. Usually we'd have 71 laps, but we're doing a 50% race, which is 36. Pole position is on the left-hand side of the track, and probably the worst place to be starting. Third place is probably your provisional pole, or is your pole position. Risky, obviously, having the strategical pole position, having the highest free choice of tyres. It's a whopping 890 metres from the grid to turn 1. With the car's full throttle, only 45% of the track. The longest flat-out section is at 1.2 kilometres long, which is ranges from turn 17 to turn 1. And approximately 52 gear changes per lap, with 16 seconds being lost for a pit stop. Interesting. 16 seconds is the gap we're supposedly looking out for when it all comes down to the strategy. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Can Skeldog close the gap in the championship, even though it has been wrapped up? But I'm sure Pinty is going to give this one everything he can to get another win to his name. Only one Luca Rosman joins the back of the grid, starting in 14th place after being disqualified from qualifying. You can see all 14 cars lined up on the grid. And for the penultimate time this season, we're about to get racing here in the Academy. The 5 red lights are turning on. We've got 3, 4, 5 lights here in Mexico. And it's the lights out, and away we go for the penultimate time this season. Our pit is off to a good start over Pinty. Skeldog's left them on the line. They're already 3 wide, and the run down towards turn 1. Kubokarin on the inside gets up into 4th place, but this car's absolutely everywhere. Skeldog, though, it seems to have kept his lead going in towards turn 1. Meanwhile, our Pitter and Lucas going wheel to wheel. It's carnage at the back as well. Cars everywhere, and it looks like they've all kept their noses in clean shape. Lucas running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 3. Meanwhile, only one Luca Rosman gaining 5 positions through the first few corners. Is already up into 9th place. Lucas couldn't quite get the move done on our Pitter going in towards turn 4. Further back, we have Sumi getting ahead of Whiskey for 11th place. Skeldog though has absolutely left the field. Look at Pinty down in 7th place. Someone's been tagged round, and I think that's Lucas, who is backwards in the run down towards turn 7 and will rejoin the back of the grid. That don't think that should warrant a safety car. Meanwhile, we've got Witzel. No, it's Tobockeran who's dropped it at the exit of turn 8, and it looked like that might have been a reset to track. We kind of caught the car perfectly back on track. We'll have to have a look to see if the stewards can confirm that. We'll have a look after the race. Meanwhile, the 2 orange cars of Tootie Boy and only one Luca Rosman can go wheel to wheel. Tootie Boy coming out on top. Lucas retiring in the middle sector. Appears to be manual. But Skeldog leads the way at the end of lap 1 with a 1.5 second advantage, and he's absolutely on fire. Meanwhile, these two still going side by side in the run down towards turn 1. It's about probably it's a kilometre long straight, I think it is. Almost as long as China. Looking behind from the rear wing of only one Luca Rosman. He's gaining, but is Tootie Boy going to send one to the inside? Not quite. Only one Luca Rosman keeps the position. There's a reminder of the predicted pit stop strategy. And it looks like only one Luca Rosman has actually changed this to a soft, hard on the second tyre strategy. Tobockeran's into the pits for a new wing change. Here goes Pinty down the inside of Witzel. The battle for 4th place, and it might have been contact. I think it was just a camera angle though. Pinty though has to settle in behind for 5th place, riding on board with the red and white blue car. It looks like a new livery, possibly to celebrate his championship victory. The Norwegian driver, someone's lost it in front. That's a big crash for our pitter. That might be a safety car, and it is a VSC. The virtual safety car has been deployed, and there you can see the stranded car on the side of the track. He's lost it on the exit of turn 7, and hopefully the marshals can clear the damage without having to bring out the safety car. And it looks like the VSC is going to stay. It doesn't look like it's going to get upgraded, but look at the gap after 2 laps. 4 seconds is the gap that Skeldog has to Hilstedinha behind. Will anyone take this opportunity to get a cheap pit stop under the virtual safety car, maybe go into a set of mediums? And you know what? Pinty's going to take that opportunity. He might be the only one to come into the pits, and it's a fair call, to be honest. Nico Zora comes in off the soft as well. Probably will go into a set of medium or hard tyres. It's mediums for Pinty. We'll have to wait and see what Nico Zora goes on to. It looks like it was the medium compound tyre. There it is, yellow striped medium Pirellis, going on to the AVAC sponsored multiplayer F1 car. Now the virtual safety car should be coming in the next 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. I thought I'd try timing it. I thought I'd give it a go, but it's going to stay out for a little bit longer. Almost exactly a lap. It took 2 laps for 2 retirements, and someone stopped on the track. And who is that? Is that only one Luca Rosman? I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure what happened there. I thought someone's almost going to get ploughed into. DRS though has been enabled at the end of lap 3 after the VSC. Hopefully the drivers have warmed up their tyres going through the middle sector. We saw our pitter drop it after the 2nd lap, and Sumi already with a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. It's quite easy to pick up time penalties here. The driver who wins probably going to have 0 or as few as possible. Meanwhile, the poll in the chat for do you like this track? Well, 67% have said yes, and 33 have said no. So it appears to be a favourite of the majority of the viewers joining us in the chat tonight. Only one Luca Rosman is tucked in behind the slipstream of Witzel in the run down towards turn 1. But you do fear that this is going to form into a DRS train of some sort, which is the one downside of Mexico. However, fairly similar to Silverstone, where this same thing can occur. Only one Luca Rosman though, starting from the back of the grid. It's definitely not put his overtaking spirits down, because he's already up into 4th place, fighting for a podium here halfway through lap 4. There's still 32 laps left to go though, but it's been a stunning job from him. Our pitter has left the session after retiring at the end of lap 2, dropping it down at turn 7 on the exit of this corner right here. It's been an absolutely amazing start from Skeldog. 3.4 seconds is his advantage out in front. Only a 10th though separating Witzel, and only one Luca Rosman who's going to try and go round the outside down at turn 12. What a move from only one Luca Rosman. It's racy, he moves down the inside, let alone round the outside. That was beautiful stuff from only one Luca Rosman, proving to us that he has got the pace to potentially win this race. Sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 19.3. but he wants to go defensive. Witzel's going to have the DRS in the run down towards turn 1. But he's not going to be close enough to make a move. Liam, though, might be close enough. You know what? He's alongside to make a move. He's now ahead. What about Whiskey, who pulls alongside Sumi towards turn 1? Can he get the move done round the outside? A little bit of contact between the two, but Whiskey maintains the position and stays ahead up into 7th place. Only one Luca Rosman picks up a 3-second time penalty. 5 laps into this race, claims the second time penalty awarded in this race so far. Penalties are definitely going to be a key factor in the final results of this 36 lap race. Gaps opening up slightly in the midfield, could be due to tyre wear or the simple factor of the DRS train. It's really important to save your overtake button around this track and use it when necessary. If someone's 3/10 behind you in the run down towards turn 1, there's no point in using the overtake. They are pretty much guaranteed to get past you with the aid of DRS. My top tip, use your ERS deployment wisely, because unlike in previous games, you can't flick between modes, only medium or overtake. The same with the field, you can only use standard revs unless you're under a safety car. You can then turn the engine down to lean mix. Whiskey, the only driver who's going to be opening DRS this lap, is actually not close enough, or wasn't close enough through the DRS activation point. This is 8/10 now behind Tooterboy, but it was over a second behind when going through the activation line, which is just before turn 16. He's gained lots of time on Tooterboy though through the second sector. He's not going to get it again because it's the same with turn 1. You only get it if you're within a second at the DRS activation point. That's turn 16, which is a really weird thing about this track. Tooterboy has ran wide at the exit of turn 5. He might be feeling the pressure from Whiskey now. He's only 4/10 behind the Golf themed livery. Might try and set himself up for a move in the next couple of laps, maybe down towards turn 1, the best overtaking opportunity at this track. He has cut the corner slightly. That might be a warning for track limits. I believe someone's speaking Spanish in the chat. It's been a while since I took my Spanish exam, so a little bit rusty on that one. Pinty has got ahead of Dutchy though. Not sure where that one came from, but Pinty moves himself up into 9th place, and that is Tooterboy into the pits at the end of lap 7 off of the soft compound tyres. Might have been struggling for pace, could be guaranteeing a 2-stop. Here goes Sumi, who's going to try and get the position back from Whiskey here. Battle for now 6th place as Tooterboy's dived into the pits. Whiskey though has the DRS because he was behind Tooterboy before he peeled into the pit lane. Talking about only one Luca Rosman flying in this race, he's up into 3rd place and he's only 5/10 behind Hilstedinho. Absolutely incredible pace from only one Luca Rosman. He can still go on to win this race. Never say never, especially when it comes to motor racing, as we all found out this weekend. And I think F1 and racing in general has proved to us that it is not over until you cross the line on the final lap of the race. Not just F1, MotoGP, Formula E, it's all about crossing the line when the checkered flag is waved. Never say never, as well, miracles do happen. Only one Luca Rosman though. He's on an absolute flyer. The DRS has been deployed, is open. You can see the rear wing is wide open. Hilstedinho tries to weave to break the slipstream, but it is only good enough to close down the gap. Not close enough to go for a move in towards turn 1. What about Sumi though? Down the inside. He's now ahead with the aid of DRS and can pull it back over to the racing line. Decides to stay defensive though, going in towards turn 1, but gets himself up into 6th place. What about only one Luca Rosman down towards turn 4? And that was close to a falling down, almost rear-ending the back of Hilstedinho down in towards turn 4, sorry. Who won in Formula E? It was Nick de Vries that won this season, or last season. Formula E is it's honestly so good. Sorry, I have to bring it up when someone mentions Formula E. Formula E is pretty much the pinnacle of motor racing. keyword being the racing. It is, if you want to see racing, go watch Formula E. They make contact and it's absolutely fine. Light contact though. Funny how the champion of each league has had a bad race after being crowned. That is exactly true, Gav. When I won in the Premier Series in Brazil, I had a shocking race in Abu Dhabi. I think I finished 5th or 6th or something. Hilstedinho, though, goes onto the medium tyres. We won't talk about that race. Definitely because I didn't put on a setup. But Hilstedinho is going to come out in 8th place. Let's have a look at the tyres as things stand. It's the top 6 who are still on 8-lap old softs. Everyone else has gone mediums. Apart from Tim who's gone into the hards. He might go to the end. JMB still saying he likes Formula E. Who doesn't like Formula E? And if you don't like Formula E, then, well, if you're friends with me on PlayStation, Discord or whatever, I think I might have to remove you. No offence. No, I'm joking. We all have our personal opinions. I just like motor racing in general, whether it be GT3s, yellow flags, and it's Skeldog! Skeldog's lost it, he's got no front wing, there is absolutely no front wing on the front of the green and purple car, and he's now got only one Luca Rosman right behind him. He's dropped it at the exit of turn 11, a place where it's so easy to do, so he tries sending one back up the inside, but he's got nothing on the front of that car. He can't bite the position, and this is going to force an early pit stop from your runner-up this season in the Drivers' Championship. Meanwhile, Liam's got ahead of Witzel, who's made a mistake at the stadium section. Skeldog into the pits off of the soft compound tyres. It's another set of the softs, guaranteeing a 2-stopper, and that is definitely a twist in the tail for the end of this race. We're only on lap 10, anything can still happen, but promotes only one Luca Rosman up into the lead of this race from the back of the grid. Yes, Gav, Nick de Vries also won in Formula 2 and then didn't get a seat in Formula 1. Chose to go to Formula E, and well, there he's had major success with the Mercedes F1 team. I believe it's Mercedes he is signed with. This could be close with Tuboy and Witzel. Tuesday Boy is going to have the DRS. Witzel, the 6th sorry, Witzel is going to have the DRS on Skeldog, as the gap was there initially, but is no longer the case. And this is, Pinty's close behind Whiskey. He's now alongside Whiskey going in towards turn 12. He's was alongside, now ahead. And is up into the podium positions. Only one Luca Rosman's into the pits, off of the softs. Does Liam follow him in? Yes, he does, and I think Pinty's going to stay out, having pitted 5 laps ago. He's on the medium compound tyres, and will probably pit again for a set of mediums. Whiskey's also into the pits, as Hilstedinho staying out on the new fresh mediums, goes up into 2nd place. Ahead of only one Luca Rosman, who gets dropped back down into 3rd place, but goes on to a set of the soft compound tyres. We've got lots of diverse strategies here, which is one of my favourite things about, or favourite factors about this track. Meanwhile, Liam's going to come out side by side with Witzel in the run down towards turn 1, but has to tuck in behind. Witzel just has the momentum from turn 17, and the straight line speed advantage going in towards the first corner. Liam, though, is going to have the fresher tyres and the quicker tyres going onto a set of the soft tyres. He's using a bit of overtake. Is he going to send one at turn 4? Not quite close enough to get the move done. Here's a question that could spark a debate in the chat. What's your opinion on F2 champions or old experienced veterans? I hope that makes sense. Basically, should drivers like Oscar Piastri deserve a seat over Fernando Alonso? That is an interesting topic of debate. Yellow flag. Someone has lost it. I think that was Hilstedinho. That gap has come down to 1/10. The top 3 separated by 8/10. They're all going to have the DRS on each other, but I think it was Hilstedinho who made the mistake. It could have even been Pinty who made the mistake, because Hilstedinho wasn't in the DRS range. He's now vulnerable to only one Luca Rosman, who now gets up into 2nd place with the aid of the DRS down towards turn 1. I think that was Liam getting past Witzel with the aid of the DRS. and now gets up into 4th place. Here goes only one Luca Rosman though, trying to get himself up into the lead of this race. Can he get 2 cars in 4 corners? Not quite, decides to back off and stay behind. But we've got 3 drivers fighting for the lead of this race. All of them on completely different tyre strategies, which should make this race extremely exciting. People saying Piastri deserved a seat in F1, but do you think the young guns should get it over the old veterans? When the old veterans have proven their pace? I mean, we've seen the stunning job Alonso has done for Alpine. Some may say Vettel, it's time to go. He's getting old. Hamilton's getting old, but he's still at the top of his game. What do? There's not enough seats to cater for all the talented F1 drivers or the motor racing drivers there are out there in the world. Only one Luca Rosman though, he's guaranteed to promote himself up into the lead of this race. He's 600th behind, and he hasn't even opened the DRS yet. He's now alongside Pinty and is ahead of Pinty going towards turn 1. Probably the easiest move he's ever going to do all race on those fresh soft compound tyres. He needs to push though, and he needs to get an advantage because he's going to be on the mediums for the second half of this race. Pinty could be on fresher mediums. Hilstadinho may even go for softs. I mean, there's no retirement age for F1. He could go till he's 50 if he's still performing at the pace that he is now, and he's 50 years old, let's say, in 10 years. Why get rid of him for someone who could be slower but younger? It's a very competitive world out there, and unfortunately not enough seats to cater for everyone. But I'm sure one day the likes of Nick de Vries, Callum Ilott, Oscar Piastri will all find themselves a seat in F1. Witzel picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. As it has Pinty gone over the DRS activation line within the second range. It looks like he might have. I think he just got it there. We'll have to wait and see whether the rear wing opens. Does it open? And no, it doesn't. He wasn't close enough on that last lap, which means only one Luca Rosman can extend his lead with the aid of DRS and what looks like lower wing angles. He seems to be gaining a lot down the start-finish straight. Speaking of gainers, let's have a look at your biggest gainers and losers. Everyone has made a pit stop, and it is only one Luca Rosman from the back of the grid who has promoted himself up into 1st place. Meanwhile, Liam up 4 positions, Tutiboy up 3, and Whiskey up 2. Not been too many shakers, apart from Arpita and Lucas dropped down to 13th and 14th place. The only retirements from this race so far. The gaps begin to open up as the strategies start to diverse, I think is a fair word. You can see I don't think anyone's on the same tyre strategies apart from maybe only one Luca Rosman and Liam, Sumi and Witzel. I think everyone else is on completely different strategies. That gap out in front, 2.3 seconds. Keep an eye on it because it's only going to get bigger, and as long as he keeps it on the track. Skeldog, who was leading this race, had the front wing change for dropping it on the exit of turn 11. He is about 6 seconds off of the lead of this race, running in 4th place, but crucially hasn't got a time penalty. One of 5 drivers yet to pick up a penalty. Thank you to everyone who's currently tuning into the penultimate race of the Academy season. Sumi might try and get up into 7th place here at the end of lap 15 with the aid of DRS. Tutiboy goes to the middle of the track, but there's nothing he can do to defend from Sumi, who's going to get past with the aid of DRS. Now up into 7th place. 5.6 seconds is the gap to Witzel in front. This move might not be over, but he is going to have the DRS on the exit of the corner. And will maintain 7th place and can now start the charge for 6th and possibly even 5th. I'm not going to say a word, Gav. Don't you worry about that. I've had too many experiences on GT Sport with with cursing drivers. Tim, if you are watching, I do apologise for cursing you. Pretty much the entirety of the season. If anyone is unfamiliar with the GT Sport League, whenever Atom Green has been leading a race, I'd congratulate him for leading. I'd say he's doing a good job, and then he would spin and crash. get a time penalty. Seems to be something I'm quite familiar with. I think I picked it up from when I done commentary with Toussaint in the Premier Series. He used to use a particular word beginning with L. Hopefully we don't have to use that word. The viewers will know. If you know, you know. If you've been here a while, you'll understand what we mean. Meanwhile, Cheetah with the DRS weaves to try and get past Sumi. Couldn't quite find the gap on the inside to send one, but if he can set himself up for a move at turn 4, if he gets a good exit from turn 3, it looks like he has. The overtake has been enabled. You can see the green light on the steering wheel. He's up alongside Sumi, down the inside and towards turn 4. He's now alongside at the braking point. It's going to be the outside for turn 5. Bevy Hamilton and Alonso-esque from 2017. He's going to try the old switchback move and try and get a good exit. These two still going wheel to wheel. And the run down towards turn 7. Sumi has to back off at the end. I thought he was going to send it back down the inside, but Tutti Boy with a beautiful move gets up into second place. Someone, I think that was Witzel, picked up a 3-second time penalty in the meantime. Actually, no, I think it might have been Skeldog who got that penalty as that battle was going on. The closest battle on track is none other than the battle for the podium. Hilstadinho weaves to break the slipstream. Skeldog has done a stunning job to close the gap. He pulls over to the right-hand side of the screen, left-hand side of the track to go round the outside of Skeldog in towards turn 1. And you know what? He's only gone and done it, and he's now back up into the podium positions, and he can try and hunt down Pinty for second place. Going back down to the battle for 7, Sumi gets ahead of Tutti Boy before they start braking for turn 1. Is Tutti Boy going to send one? He's not close enough to go for a line down the inside, and it's only going to get worse because Sumi is going to have the DRS on the exit of turn 3. 3, 2, 1, and opens up the rear wing. Yellow flags in the middle sector, and it's Witzel who's lost it at the exit of turn 5, and he's got a front wing damage. He's hit the wall during the spin. It's a really bizarre place to lose the rear, but he's got front and left end plate damage. Drops him down to 8th place, promotes Sumi and Tutti Boy up into 6th and 7th, and hugely unfortunate for Witzel there. He was running in a really good position on not too worn set of medium tyres. Whiskey picks up a 3-second time penalty, and I believe that's his second of the evening. Here we go for, I think this is round 4 or 5 between these two. As long as you keep it within a second, this battle is not going to stop. Look at the gap, 0.8 of a second. Let's monitor it as the DRS is now open. Down the start finish straight, it's 0.7. You can count it down with me. 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3. The aid of the DRS and the overtake and probably the fewer wing angle is enough to close down that gap quite significantly, and he's going to get it again here on the exit of turn 3. Here we go, the gap is 0.3. Count down, 3, 2, 1. Here he goes to the outside. Sumi goes defensive. Can he get this one stick around the outside, down the inside for turn 5? He's gone a little bit wide, and you know what? He's only gone and done it once again. A beautiful move from Tutti Boy, and on 3 lap older mediums, he's done a good job in getting past, and Liam's lost it at the same place as Skeldog, and he's got absolutely no front wing. He's lost the entirety of his front downforce, and he's going to be into the pit slightly earlier than he would have hoped for, and they'll probably put on a set of hard tyres to go to the end of the race. Meanwhile, the battle for second place. Look at Skeldog. He's on a charge. He's gained on Hilstadinho. He overtook Hilstadinho. There's no overtaking Pinty. You can look behind and see the red, white and blue car now behind and in the mirrors. Meanwhile, the battle for 6th place is not over just yet. 0.2 now, coming around the final corner. This could be the second easiest move of the race. Sumi, though, with the aid of DRS, he's going to go for it. Pulls up to the right-hand side of the track, and I think, there you go. Tutti Boy can't really do much to defend unless he sends one down the inside and takes Sumi out, which, of course, he's not going to do. He has to settle for 6th place, and it's only going to get worse because Sumi's going to have the DRS once again. And to make matters even worse, the rub salt in the wounds runs slightly wide over the white lines and picks up a 3-second time penalty for running over and putting all 4 wheels off of the track. You really got to be pushing through the stadium section and the S's to get a big enough advantage so the car behind doesn't close the gap going in towards turn 1, let alone overtake. But that's what some people criticise about this track, is it's so hard to overtake it. For a DRS train, Nico Zora tries squeezing Dutchy over to the inside. Dutchy ultimately wasn't close enough to get the move done, but Pinty's into the pits, off of the 16 lap off mediums, puts on another set of the yellow soft compound of the yellow striped compound tyre, sorry. Meanwhile, Dutchy only 3/10 behind Nico Zora, going through the S's, the battle for the final point, as a Dutchy picks up a 3-second time penalty. I have to say, I do really like his onboard livery, the dark blue and kind of fluorescent yellow, really do go well together. I mean, wow, Sumi has extended the gap to 1.4 seconds to Tutiboy. Maybe his tyres are starting to go off. He could be trying to extend to go into another set of the soft compounded tyre. Look at the gap out in front. 4.6 seconds. Let's just keep monitoring that, because we've seen Skeldog's pace from the start of the race until he lost it at turn 11, sorry. Lost his front wing. Dutchy getting ahead of Nico Zora. As you can see, has the DRS in the run down towards turn 1. And will probably stay ahead with the aid of the DRS in the run down towards turn 4 as well. Only 2 drivers on the grid yet to get a time penalty so far. That is Liam and Nico Zora. Speaking of, Skeldog picks up another 5-second time, or a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Zoom in onto the yellow striped medium compound tyres that go on to the purple and green car that currently runs 3rd place in this race. He will come out ahead of Pinty. It's going to be close. There he is. Pinty's going to have the closing speed in the run down towards turn 1. He's using the overtake to try and close the gap down. Tooty Boy's into the pits as well, possibly trying to undercut Sumi. He's going to go into another set of mediums. Pinty, though, is now 7/10 behind. The slipstream is quite powerful around this track. Let's take a quick look at the penalty situation. Skeldog with a whopping 11 seconds, 6 of them from track limits, 5 of them from speeding in the pit lane. Only one Luca Rosman and Hilstedinho with 3 seconds. Pinty, Sumi and Dutchy also have 3 seconds. Whiskey with 6, Tutiboy with 6 and Bitzel also with 6 seconds. Liam and Nico Zora the only 2 drivers not to pick up a time penalty. Can Pinty not lose 2/10 through this final sector to get DRS from Skeldog in front? It looks that way. He's 8/10 behind the car in front and going through the activation point, which is just there at that white line. He's going to get the DRS down the start-finish straight and the crucial run down towards turn 1. Pinty setting a new fastest lap of the race on those fresh medium compound tyres. Hasn't got the best run through the final corner. Initially started to lose time before opening up the DRS. It's not going to get him in towards turn 1, but might try and look down in towards turn 4. Hasn't got the greatest of exits. The gap's opened up to 5/10, but it will pursue to drop with the aid of DRS. He's 2/10 up on his previous best lap with the aid of the drag reduction system, but it's not enough to get him ahead as Nico Zora comes into the pits. And there you go, Nico Zora is into the pits for a fresh set of what I can guess would be the medium compound tyres. And there you have it, mediums for Nico Zora running in 12th place as things stand. Only one Luca Rosman, your race leader, is into the pits off of the softs. It will be medium tyres. Meanwhile, Pinty's gained so much time through the middle sector, and Skeldog's letting him go through. A strategical change from Skeldog because he knows he's going to get the DRS. Pinty tried letting him go back through, but I think Skeldog might have got over the DRS activation point. I think he might have got it first. I think he might have got it. We'll have to wait and see who got it. He got it. Pinty has absolutely thrown this one away. He definitely messed that up. The strategy was there from Skeldog. Pinty tried to return the favour, but ended up giving Skeldog both 3rd place and the DRS. Probably would have been better to stay in front. and just accept the position loss, to be honest, and have a go at the next lap. That gap now is going to increase. Pinty's got a lot of work to do through the middle sector if he's to close the gap back down. Definitely not the best strategical moment. Nico Zora picking up a 3-second time penalty, which means Liam is going to be the only driver and the last driver not to pick up a time penalty. Skeldog picks up a 3-second time penalty through the S's section, and Pinty's closing the gap down. He's found some time through the middle sector. Could that be enough time? With the time he needs to get within the DRS range, or a good DRS range, to challenge for moving towards turn 1. 5/10 I'd say is a suitable gap going around the final corner, and he's within that range. He's not got the best exit through turn 16 as it opens up to 7/10. Here we go then. Pinty is in the slipstream of Skeldog in towards turn 1. He goes heavily defensive to the inside. Not much he can do though. They're wheel to wheel in towards turn 1. Pinty though with the extra drive gets ahead, but he's got a little bit deep. This could allow Skeldog to get the exit he needs to try and challenge with the overtake button. He's gaining, but Pinty's going to slap the DRS in his face and say goodbye. He even closes it early, maybe to rub salt in the wounds, but he's going to send one down the inside. As he got the move, then he might have overshot the corner slightly, because here goes Pinty with the old switcheroo, but he couldn't quite return the favour and has to settle to 4th place for now. Great driving from Skeldog, gets himself back up onto the podium positions, and Hilstadinho still has to come into the pits, so these two losing time to your race leader, only one Luca Rosman, because there's no way those medium tyres will be able to go to the end. I'm going to make a guess here. Is Hilstadinho going to pit? No, I thought he would pit. I think those mediums can probably go about 6 laps. There's a strategical switch. It might have looked like a lunge, but Skeldog's now going to gift himself DRS down the start-finish straight. It's a battle of the minds here at Mexico between Skeldog and Pinty. Some might say it's very Saudi Arabia-like between Hamilton and Verstappen. When Hamilton slows to let Hamilton go through, Hamilton probably thought he was letting him go through so Verstappen could get the DRS. But here goes Skeldog, sends one to the inside. There's contact, and they're both sent into a synchronised half spin. That was quite poetic, to be brutally honest, but not ideal. They're going to go wheel to wheel on the exit of turn 3 and the run down towards turn 4. Skeldog with the DRS gets in front. Pinty thinks more wisely about this. Doesn't go for a move down the inside, but it looked like Skeldog actually might have let him go through there. Good sportsman-like behaviour from Skeldog there, if that was letting Pinty get back up into 3rd place. You'd love to see it. But it could also be another strategical switch to get the DRS down in towards turn 12, which is right here. There's the DRS. Is Pinty going to let Skeldog go back through on the exit of turn 13? Not this corner, but the next. We'll have to wait and see. Does he go a little bit deep into the corner? Yes, they both do, and it really is a game of strategy. With 10 laps to go, Hilstadinho's into the pits will probably go onto the soft, and indeed he does. But it's going to be wheel to wheel down the start-finish straight once again. This time, Tutti Boy is alongside Pinty. There he is, alongside the French-themed car for the Norwegian driver, running the same colour flags as the Norwegian flag, red, white and blue. And demotes himself down to 3rd place as Skeldog gets up into second place in the championship, 2nd place on the racetrack. Opens up the DRS, but has a significantly larger number of time penalties, so he really has to pull away if he's to claim 2nd place. Keep an eye on Hilstadinho though, with the fresh sets of softs and these two battling up in front. He could make this a 3-way fight for 2nd place, and with the lockups per se down at turn 13, it could still be anyone's race, although there's another 3-second time penalty for Skeldog, which has probably thrown this one out the window. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's not great. 17 seconds. He could even be behind Sumi here, and if Tobocco gets a move on and goes to the end of the race on those hards, he may even finish ahead of Skeldog. The tactical change wasn't to happen this lap, as Pinty stays ahead behind Skeldog, and it will be his time to have the DRS down towards turn 1. There you go, the rear flap opens. It's the extra straight line speed advantage needed to try and go for a move in towards turn 1 or turn 4. Which one's he going to go for though? It stays behind in towards turn 1 as Asumi into the pits will go into a set of soft compound tyres after doing 16 laps on those mediums. Here we go, once again, Pinty in the slipstream. Is he close enough to Skeldog to go for a move? He's going to send one. That was late. Has he got in too deep? He's gone in deep, but he's made it work. Skeldog is going to try the switchback move in towards turn 5 and 6. Down the inside he goes. Pinty now, he's going to try the switchback to get a good run into 7. But a beautiful move from Skeldog promotes him back up into second place. But with 17-second time penalties, he's closer to disqualification than he is to finishing this race in second place. But he's still giving it a fight here. The championship might be wrapped up, but the two championship protagonists and the two rivals who've been fighting all season long are definitely going at it once again. And Pinty with a beautiful move round the outside, but some may say that was another tactical switch from Skeldog so that Pinty has the DRS, so that he has the DRS. But look who's also going to get the DRS in the next lap or so. Hilstedinho is closed 4 seconds to these cars in front. The battling is definitely aided, plus the aid of the soft compound tyres. It's a 17.7, the fastest driver on the track as things stand. Here we go. Skeldog thinks about going to the inside. Pinty has it covered, and he gets the move done. Back up into second place, down at turn 1. Pinty has to settle in behind and can only watch as the car in front will pull away with the DRS open. There it is. He's on the overtake to try and gain as much time he can with the lack of straight line speed. But Hilstedinho is going to be able to make up all his time through the corners, possibly closing within a second. And the three-way fight is on for second place. Meanwhile, we've got a battle for 9th place between Witzel and Whiskey. Is this contact through turn 17. Yellow flags. Who's that for? Who was that for? Was that only one Luca Rosman? Or it might have been Nico Zora letting only one Luca Rosman go through. Are we going to have another tactical switch down at the chicane? No, we're not on this time, because I think they're a bit nervous about this man right here, Hilstedinho, who's 6 tenths behind. He's also going to have the DRS, but look who's dropped behind. Pinty might just be starting to feel the effects of tyre wear. Has he got DRS? No, he hasn't. He hasn't got a DRS. He's going to be vulnerable to Hilstedinho. This could be where Skeldog tries to pull out a 15-second lead. It's going to be tough, but never say never. Here goes Hilstedinho down the inside and towards turn 1. Pinty's going to try and keep it down the inside for turn 2, but hasn't got quite enough drive, or isn't alongside to get the job done. He might though send one in towards turn 4, but once again being 3 tenths behind isn't close enough to lunge one late on the brakes. And yes, Robert, his softs can definitely go to the end. He's only done 2 laps. Softs can go about 11, 12 laps here at Mexico before they start really falling off the cliff, or maybe even puncture territory. They could probably go a few laps after. But it's now Hilstedinho's job to pull Pinty along, try and close the gap to Skeldog, running in 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. But I think at the end of this race, I don't think Skeldog's going to finish in 2nd place with this 17 seconds worth of time penalties. He could be, he's going to drop down to 4th place with a 24-second gap to Bokrum. That's just the advantage in the pace that the top 4 have in this race. This man was disqualified from qualifying for going the wrong way, and he's leading by 8 seconds. Meanwhile, here goes Hilstedinho with the DRS. He's not close enough to send one down towards turn 1. He's going to save it, but the turn 4 chicane. The aid of the DRS is definitely going to help, but he hasn't got a good exit. But he has opened up the DRS, which will aid the straight line speed. And the run down towards turn 4, Skeldog doesn't even bother defending the inside line. Hilstedinho doesn't send one to the inside, just tucks in behind for now, but is pulling Pinty along with him. Sumi gets up into 7th place on the fresh soft compound tyres compared to Tutti Boy's Warner medium compound tyres. Chibokran doing a stunning job, having done 27 laps on those hard tyres. I'm not too sure how long the hards go around this track, but with he might not make it to the end. I'm not too confident the Hards can do 90% of this race. We'll have to wait and see. Is Skeldog doing another tactical switch at the chicane? Yes, he is. He's now down to third place, but he's going to have the DRS, or is he? It's a snail. It's a bus stop chicane going through the stadium section. None of these drivers want the DRS, and they're on down towards turn 1. But here we go. Who has the DRS? It is Skeldog and Pinty. They could be 3 wide into turn 1. Here we go. Pinty pulls up alongside Skeldog. Skeldog pulls alongside Hilstedinho. They're 3 wide in towards turn 1, but it's Skeldog who's saying when Pinty backs out. They're 2 going wheel to wheel through turn 1, 2 and 3. Skeldog gets himself up into second place. Hilstedinho is now going to be vulnerable to Pinty, who's going to have the DRS. Will he lose 2 positions in 2 corners? No, not quite. And the concerns raised about Chewbacca making it to the end have now been eliminated as he comes into the pits for a fresh set of soft tyres, dropping him down into 8th place, possibly even 9th. Whiskey might just get the jump on him. Let's keep an eye on this gap. Where is he? He's in the pit lane. He's out of the pit lane and behind Whiskey in the run down towards turn 1. Meanwhile, the racing and the mind games continue out in front. Are we going to see another tactical change with Skeldog in second place? Does he lock up? We'll go a bit deep. No, he doesn't. He maintains second place and won't have the DRS. Hilstedinho just dropping back a little bit through the middle sector. He's not had the best of laps. Does he have the DRS? Was he a second by the activation point? No, he wasn't. Yellow flags. Liam's retired. And is that going to bring out a safety car? You can see the car in the middle of the track. It has. It's a safety car with 5 laps to go. Abu Dhabi. Here we go. The race is on, ladies and gentlemen. Liam dropped it at the exit of turn 11, exactly where Skeldog done on the opening few laps. I'm so unfortunate for Liam there. He was running a really good race. And not a rare mistake. Tootie Boys into the pits as well, I think. Well, hey, look at it. It's Nico Zora is a lapped car in between Skeldog and only one Luca Rosman. Where have I seen this before? Where have I seen this before? Things are about to get interesting here in the Academy. What a penultimate race we have here at Mexico. If only this was the final race of the season. If only we were at Abu Dhabi. If only the championship hasn't been wrapped up again. A blue car dropped it with 5 laps to go. And, well, history likes to repeat itself. And repeats itself it has. Only one Luca Rosman pits. Only one Luca Rosman pits. Skeldog and Hilstedinho stay out. So that eliminates the fact of Nico Zora being in between any cars, as he now becomes the de facto safety car when a safety car decides to come into the pit. But was it a mistake for Skeldog staying out on old mediums compared to everyone's fresh soft compound tyres? Mind you, he does have 17 seconds worth of time penalties, so he can try and win it on track, but he might not win it at the end of the race. Nico Zora is overtaking the safety car. Will he get disqualified, or has Codemasters actually done something? You know what? I was unaware of this update, but oh no, never mind. It's because he's not in. But never mind. That's always been a thing. It's because Nico Zora wasn't behind a car on the lead lap, so he can overtake the safety car, because technically Skeldog hadn't caught up because there was a car in between. So yeah, my bad. Codemasters, I think it's going to be game breaking the first time they add lap cars can overtake under the safety car. So in a way, I'm kind of glad they don't, because technically it's not a set rule. The FIA, Michael Massey, don't have to allow lap cars to overtake. Initially, like they've done in Abu Dhabi, it's not a set rule. Lap cars don't have to. In the same way, blue flags have to overtake, let the faster cars through. The FIA don't have to let the lap cars go through, which is kind of what I'm guessing the game kind of goes with. But Well, we didn't have to use the L word because we're going to get the safety car in this lap for 2 final laps of racing. Whether the grid has caught up to the back of the safety car or not, we will get racing here at the end of lap 34 for a 2-lap showdown. There's not going to be enough time for the DRS to be enabled, but it's still enough time to decide a race winner. Time penalties may be the biggest factor in this one, but who knows? There is still plenty of time for collisions, drama and overtakes. The top 2 on worn tyres, drivers behind on a fresh set of softs. The race is on. I'm going to have to take a drink of water in between this, otherwise I think I might just lose my voice. If you're only just joining or thinking of leaving, don't leave and welcome, because you're here for a stunning, dramatic end to the penultimate race of the Academy Season 5. Round 10 here in Mexico. We're just waiting for the message to pop up that the safety car will be in this lap. The Mercedes safety car, the red safety car, driven by Bert Mailander, will be pulling into the pits at the end of this lap. Hilstedinho may even pull up alongside Skeldog because he wants to get this race underway. Skeldog becomes the de facto safety car on half the grid, or 3 drivers haven't yet caught up because the safety car has to come in to get some racing laps. Skeldog has gone early. Has he gone too early? You can see the safety cars there. And he's hit the limiter! He's hit the limiter! Hilstedinho's gone through, and I think he might have. Is that a penalty? No, it's not a penalty. It's horrific from only one Luca Rosman. It's Skeldog, sorry. It's an absolutely appalling start. Spencer's got a 3-second time penalty with multiple warnings, but it's 3 wide in the run down towards turn 1. Who's going to come out on top? I have no idea what's going on. Whiskey's on the inside. It's contacted Bockerman's off onto the grass, and he's almost set around. He's been able to catch it well. Whiskey's gone wider, Tutimo down the inside of Sumi. He's up into 6th place. He'll stay in here with a beautiful start as Skeldog hit the pit limiter for catching up to the safety car. Whiskey and Tutti Boy now going wheel to wheel down towards turn 4 and 5. There's contact between the two. Sumi might try a switch back to get the job done. He isn't close enough to send one in towards turn 5 and 6. But it is Hilstedinho who leads the race. Pinty 2 cents behind Skeldog, but about 17 seconds behind in front, when you add the penalties. Skeldog left the field too early. He misjudged when the safety car was coming into the pits. Sumi picks up a 3-second time penalty. Here goes Pinty, sends one down the inside of Skeldog. Down at turn 12, he gets the move done onto the podium position. Hilstedinho leads the field round the final corner. It's not over yet though, down for 7th place as Tubockerin is on a recovery drive after the turn 1 spin. Hit, I'm not sure who he collided with. I think it was Whiskey or Sumi. He's now in the slipstream down behind, down in the start finish straight, but so is Skeldog. He might try and go for a move. He's going to deploy all the overtake in the run down towards turn 1. Meanwhile, these guys could be going 3 wide on the last lap. Is Sumi going to send one? He's not, but Tutti Boy, Tubockerin, sends one down the inside of Whiskey. They still go wheel to wheel. There might have been contact as Sumi sends one on the exit of turn 3. Gets the job done up into 7th place goes Whiskey. Sumi has to settle for 8th place for now. There's only half a lap to go here on the Mexican Grand Prix. Sumi looks to send one down the inside. I'm not going to check the penalties because, quite frankly, I can't quite remember. But a poor safety car restart from Skeldog has demoted him down to 4th place. But I think time penalties might demote him even further. Pinty picks up a 3-second time penalty on the last lap of the race. That could be crucial to see to determine where he finishes in this race. But out of all the odds, Hilstedinho, from absolutely nowhere, he didn't pit under the safety car. He's rounding the stadium section for the final time as Sumi gets ahead of Whiskey. But is he going to finish this race in 1st place? We're certainly going to do it on track round the final corner. Hilstedinho wins the Mexican Grand Prix, but it's only one Luca Rosman who takes the win from the back of the grid. From last to first, only one Luca Rosman has beaten Hilstedinho on time penalties. Pinty gets a podium in 2nd place, and Skeldog drops all the way down to 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and Bitzel finishes in 10th behind, with Nico Zora just missing out on the points. to go through the rest of the field, we got Tubakaran in 5th, and Sumi in 6th, Whiskey in 7th, Dutchy in 8th, Skeldog down to 9th, Vitzel in 10th, Nico Zora in 11th place. But what a race. Absolutely outstanding race. Never have I commentated on what some might say a boring or anticlimactic race. The Academy has proven itself in the past 10 races and will continue to prove its worth in the future. Deserved driver of the day for only one, Luca Rosman, gaining 13 positions in that. He was on the podium by the end of lap 5 or something ridiculous. The perfect start and the perfect finish for only one, Luca Rosman. He's only 8th in the championship. He's definitely going to promote himself a few places at the end of that result. And I think that's his first win of the season. Huge congrats to only one, Luca Rosman, who is sandwiched by Norwegians on the podium. But Pinty claiming another top 3 finish. Maintaining his 100% podium record this season. In the end, it came down to penalties, and here's how your finishing grid looks at the end of 36 laps of Mexico. Only one, Luca Rosman, takes his first win of the season, deservedly, with a 3-stop strategy from the back of the grid. Gil Stadinho, with the fastest lap of the race, will claim an extra 1 point in the championship, finishes races in 2nd place. Pinty takes the final step on the podium in 3rd, with Tutiboy missing out just in 4th place. Tubakaran finishes in 5th, followed by Sumi in 6th, Whiskey in 7th, Dutch in 8th. Skeldog finished in 4th on the circuit, but drops down to 9th with time penalties. Vitzel down in 10th place, claiming the final point available over Nico Zora in 11th. Liam, Arpita and Lucas, your 3 retirements from today's race. Wow. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the final race of the season. Not because it's Brazil, and Brazil always provides so much action. But man, this Academy season has just been absolutely on fire. Outstanding race. The safety car at the end definitely brought the action back. The gaps are starting to open up with the different tyre strategies, some working, some not. But had there been no time penalties, that would have been such a close finish. And we said it at the start, time penalties would determine the finishing result. And then yes, indeed it did. Only one, Luca Rosman. An absolutely a stunning job. Can't fault Gil Stadinho as well. It's a stunning drive from himself as well, finishing in 1st on the circuit, but 2nd with time penalties. Thank you guys for joining me in the chat. Thanks Piero, thanks Jamie's Rules, thanks Thabia, Gav, I think Rick, Liam was here, Robert Codfather in the chat as well. Thank you to everyone who's joined for the 36 laps. Join us next week for the final race of the season at Brazil. Unless, Gav, you want to change it to Abu Dhabi, you know, we might have some safety car drama. Or even Saudi Arabia, I don't know. But I'm fine with Brazil. I'm absolutely speechless at the end of that race, I don't know what to say. Usual stuff, make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Join our Discord if you're new and you want to chat to any of the drivers, or you're new and you want to get involved and get racing in the league. There should be a link on the website at Gavra Racing. Just type that into Google or Yahoo, Bing, whatever other search engines are available. All the information should be on there. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Twitch if you have Twitch Prime. I've been X90G and I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.